Hello, this is Vivek. Welcome to another video in PHP Forms video series. In this video, I am going to work on displaying this form values in case of errors. And here for this first name and last name email, it will be similar, and for this radio buttons and select drop down list, it will be different. I am going to work on these three first of all. After that, I'll work on this radio buttons and the select drop down list. Here if I submit the form, with only first name, last name and email, I should see the error message. After submitting the form, you can see this error message and I am not able to get these values back. I am going to work on getting these values back. For that, we should use value attribute for these input fields. For first name, I am adding value attribute and adding a PHP block. If not empty, errors, echo, post super global fname. Let's see how it's working. Here we can use instead of not empty errors, we can use other conditions. That is, if a post fname is set and not empty, then only we can display this first name value inside this value attribute. Here I am checking if it's empty, errors array. If not empty, errors array. That is, in case there are any errors, I want to display this form data. In case there are no errors, I don't want to display these values in the form. That means these values are sent in email or inserted in database. In that case, we don't want to display. And there is another condition. I'm going to add that condition. Let's just check it. I'm submitting the first name, last name, email. Okay, submit. Here you can see this value. Just by adding value attribute, you can get the value. And instead of this condition, okay, let's check one more condition again. If there are errors, these values are being displayed. If there are no errors, we shouldn't see this value, first name value. Let's submit the form completely. Gender, age. If I submit, we shouldn't see this value. That's a condition. If not empty errors. If there are errors, only this value should be displayed. If there are no errors, this value shouldn't be displayed. Now you can see no errors in the form. I'm not able to see this value. And there is another condition. If is set $_post fname and not empty $_post fname. If I use this condition, whether there are errors or no errors, it doesn't matter. This value will be always displayed. Let's check this form. Cannot use isSet. Okay, here is this brace missing for this isSet function. Now if I submit this form, these are all the errors. If I submit a value, without submitting these three input fields, here you can see this value. If I submit all this input fields, that means this form is success. In that case also, we should see these values. Here we can see these values. Then that's a difference for adding not empty, errors, and checking isSet post fname, post super global fname. You can follow any of this. I am going to use this and I am copying this code. I'll paste it for lname and for email. Just we have to update this name attribute. That is isSet, if isSet post lname and not empty, post super global lname, echo, post super global lname. And email also, it's a similar. I'm copying this name attribute, email. If isSet post email and not empty, post email, echo, post super global email. Let's check this form by submitting the values. Only these three values. After that, I am going to add the rest of the values, that is gender and age, submit. Now you can see these three values, three input field values. I'm selecting the gender and age, submit. In case of no errors, we are seeing these values. It's up to you what method you want to choose. You can use any of these, it works fine. And mostly after a successful insertion or successfully sending an email, we'll redirect the user to another page like a thank you page or a view records page, something different. So you can use this method, it's up to you. And next, for this radio buttons and select drop down list, I had to follow a different method. Here we should add a if condition. If this post superglobal gender value is male, we'll echo checked here. Otherwise, if the value is female, if the value is equals to female, then we'll echo checked here. And for radio buttons also it's a similar. I have to compare these values in each of these. Otherwise we can generate a numbers with a loop, and in that loop we can select these ages based on the values selected by the user. We are going to work on this in next videos. In next video we'll work on this radio buttons. After that I am going to work on this select drop down list. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to my channel.